welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron. Today, I have some very special guests. I have Zach Wright, Jessica Morgan, and Chuck King here to discuss the 1387 expansion. And thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate when people want to be part of their community, but this really is going to affect you guys, and all the homeowners in that part where this proposed road is. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys to kind of introduce yourselves. Zach, can you tell me more about yourself?
Hey, my name is Zach, and I've been living in Midlothian since 2016. And my wife and I have been married since 2017. And her family grew up and developed Cross Creek neighborhood. And it came up a couple years ago that we would have the opportunity to build our future home in the Cross Creek neighborhood. And so we got super excited, started putting plans together, and put together our dream home. And out of nowhere, TxDOT has mailed us this information that there's going to be a road behind our house, and completely caught us off guard. Since my wife has lived in this neighborhood for so long, we didn't ever think there was going to be a road that had the potential to affect us. But this road is literally going to be actually taking part of the back of our property. And so that puts a big hold on what our property and our plans look like, and even a hesitation on if we're going to build right there right now.
I can imagine that uncertainty is really rough on a family. You didn't buy your property to have a big 4-lane highway come through the back of it.
Yeah.
Jessica Morgan, you're also part of this community. Can you go ahead and give yourself a little intro?
Yes, my husband and I moved to Cross Creek in 2009, and we were part of the community that lost our house in the tornado the day after Christmas in 2015. Adam and I lived here now for 13 years, and currently I'm going to Long Branch Community Baptist Church. So I go drive these roads every week to Sunday. And then my kids also go to the Parent Stay Out program there. So this is catching us off guard. It's been a big blow that we built our dream house after the tornado, and now, with an option of a road going right behind us that we didn't foresee, I don't think that we would have built back here. And I know that the church is also going to be affected by the choice of this road. And so I just am opposed to this $5 million project that doesn't need to go this way.
Mr. Chuck King, yours, I got a few details on yours, and yours is particularly grievous, but I wanted you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yes, my name's Chuck King. I live at 211 Black Champ. I moved to Midlothian in 74 when I was in the third grade. My parents' house is about 6 miles from here. In the 2000, we bought at that time, 13 acres that we live on now. We started developing the land, taking the trees out, getting some pasture land ready, put fencing in, built a small barn. Brant started running some goats on it. Then my father, myself, and my wife built our metal building in the back, our barn dominium, so to speak, as they're called nowadays. We lived there about 10 to 12 years. We started saving up to build our house. 5 years ago, we built our house at the front of the property, still bringing it back 300 to 400 feet off of Black Champ Road in case Black Champ ever was to be widened. Not knowing that now they're proposing to put a road to cut our entire property at a long angle in half, leaving some of my property on the other side. So my pasture land is on the other side. Our creek is on the other side where I take my grandkids running around and four-wheeling and driving the mule around. So yeah, it's really divided our house, divided our life, and it's got everything that we have going on hold right now.
That's not good. Cutting your property in half. That is very unfortunate. So as you guys know, 1387 is a beast. There are so many houses and so many startups that have been built in this area throughout the last few years, and 1387 has bared the brunt of it. And so it is a state road. The city doesn't have much to say about it, but they could ask for expansions. And so TxDOT got to the expansion part. 1387 runs all the way from like Hawking Springs Park, past Heritage High School, Long Branch, and then it dead ends into Ovilla Road, this FM664. Due to the recent influx of people, like I was telling you, they went ahead to a 4-6. They want to do like a 4-6 lane curb gutter highway with 2 lanes and a medium. Their plan is to expand the road, the current location, starting at Midlothian Parkway until it reaches Long Branch. And then once it gets to Long Branch, they want to go ahead and they have 2 options. But one of the options, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of just show that real quick, if y'all bear with me. So these are the 2 options, and we're going to be looking at this throughout the show. But And these options right here is where I'm talking about. It passes Long Branch and then it diverges. And so this was one way, the northern path, which is kind of follows where it is right now. And then there's this red line, and that is the southern path. And that southern path is where TxDOT has and Chuck King somewhere right here crossing the road. It is basically that's where they want to go ahead and put it. And that right there is the problem. Zach, I wanted to ask you this question. How long has this road been on the plans?
So Cross Creeks and Cimarron Meadows have been here the longest, and Cimarron Meadows was started being developed in 2001. That's when all of their plats and for the development started to go through, and there was no mention of a 60-foot right-of-way at that time. And then somewhere around 2003, they were kind of introducing that idea. Around that same time, Cross Creek Development started platting for their future properties. So fast forward to 2019, Legacy Estates was being developed, and most of them who purchased their properties in the proposed southern route were charged with a premium green space and the trees, and they were told that there was no thought of a road there happening whatsoever. Now, the only thing left for us to do is we have to rely on our officials to recognize their need for their constituents and to choose the north route, which eliminates all of the problem. There should be no option for the southern route.
Yeah, I could see why that would be a problem. Now there are environmental issues, but I do know about this area, and I do know that when it rains hard, it can flood. So Chuck, I understand that there's some water problems. Could you elaborate on this issue?
Yeah, there's a really shallow water table. There's also a spring that is in that area there by my house. There's 3 different neighborhoods that run in and funnel water towards that area and into the creeks. TxDOT has done no studies. They say they will do no studies until the right-of-way has been acquired. Then they will do the studies and come up with a plan and a scope of work. Now, in a road that's already $5 million more, the southern option being $5 million more than the northern option, to me, being in construction, going into doing the drainage and everything now is only going to elevate the cost. More cost even pushes the idea that the southern option is not a viable option when they have an existing roadway that is viable.
Chuck, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to ask you, did the TxDOT project manager even talk about a drainage plan?
No, they won't even do a study on the drainage until after the right-of-ways have been acquired.
So you got to wait till it floods to figure it out.
Right. They're going to put the road and then figure out what the problem is. Now you got to remember, you got 12 acres of concrete that is not going to absorb any rain. Now TxDOT will make sure that the water goes off of their road into the curb and gutter, but then that curb and gutter has to go somewhere. Well, where's that going? That's going into the same creeks that are already full, already have problems running the water off. So now we're going to put 12 acres of water fast off into those same creeks. That's just more houses flooded downstream. So it's creating an even bigger problem.
Jessica, you mentioned that tornado earlier, and again, I'm sorry for your loss in there. How are you and your family affected by this? How does that weigh on your opposition? How does that weigh on your opposition to having this road, come through there?
Yeah, so when we lost our home, we lost everything. We had to be displaced from our home. It was, a terrible experience. I was one of at least 13 homes that had to be completely displaced, rebuilt from the ground up. And that was a tornado that we couldn't prevent. It was a natural disaster, but the tornado that's fixing to go through back here, I want to do everything that I can to make it known that this is an option that doesn't have to be an option. It's not an option. The North should stay and remain the main option. Also, even after the tornado, even just this week, my son and my daughter, we play out in the yard and we still pick up glass. And so it's like we always live in construction anyways, and I'm just not looking forward to, the thought of a road going right through and taking out our tree line that we just appreciate so much for the privacy.
It's a dirty, nasty job, and it will be very construction heavy, and it will put all that in your houses instead of kind of the existing way, as I understand it. So you were talking about, Zach, you were talking about these trees. Tell me something about these trees you were talking about. There's a tree line, I guess?
Yeah, there's a massive tree line it's the north side of Cross Creek and Cimarron Meadows, and it's the south side of Legacy Estates. And that tree line has been there I'm going to refer to a few notes. The tree line's been there for forever. And so the trajectory of the road has changed. So they told us one option, and then now they're kind of throwing this other option that's making it even worse. And so we didn't find that out until 5 weeks ago at a TxDOT meeting. Not only will this plan destroy Mr. King's property, which I'm going to go ahead and just show this map right here and kind of give everybody an understanding. This right here is Legacy Estates. This right here is the Cimarron Meadows neighborhood. This is Cross Creek. And then as you can see, this is the potential southern option. This right here, if I can figure this out, is Mr. King's property and his neighbor's property. The road is literally going to go right through his property. So as I was saying, it's going to completely destroy Mr. King's property, and it would completely wipe out an entire age-old forest and area and the ecosystem that flourishes there. TxDOT's own published material quotes the southern alignment will remove 8.5 acres of forest and prairie and grasslands. It is 200 feet wide and is right behind the future property that I'm trying to build. They're actually going to have to take part of my property and all of the trees on the back property line that I have. And they're just going to bulldoze it over. Hundreds and hundreds of trees that are currently providing safety and shelter for animals and birds and owls and blue jays and various other wildlife. The tree line, which has been there for at least 100 years, runs east to west between Cross Creek and Legacy Estates. Every single tree, and there are thousands of them, some of them up to 50 feet tall, will be completely taken out and affecting us. Those trees being removed is going to destroy what provides for us now a windbreaker, a noise barrier, safety, security, protection for this neighborhood. And when Legacy Estates was sold, the people who built on the southern option, they were sold a premium, $14,000 more for that property alone to be built on that southern option of their neighborhood. And now they're going to put a road right there. And so this is the exact location of the drainage area that Mr. King was talking about. And this is the reason why these trees thrive so much. Not only will it be destroyed, but there will be a six-lane highway that is constructed, replacing this peaceful call owls at night. It eliminates all of the noise, all of the safety. And then now you're going to have road construction. You're going to have vehicles driving by. You're going to have semis driving through behind backyards and emergency vehicles with their sirens at all hours of the night, where right now we want to live in peace and quiet.
Well, that when you buy the house, you kind of buy that for that. You want to have your peace and quiet, and while there's needs for expansions and roads here and there, the road is currently in a place right now, and it has been for quite some time. Chuck, could you talk about the number of families that will be directly or indirectly affected by the southern route compared to the northern route? Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
On the southern route, there's 39 homes that are affected, that are directly affected, including mine and my neighbors, which we will be directly affected. And the families living within 300 to 400 feet, that's up to 90. That's a conservative number. The layout on Cross Creek goes perpendicular to the highway, so even more are affected there. That would be another 53, so bringing it up to a total of 143 families. This is the number of homes, but in all our meetings and with the county, with the city, with TxDOT, I don't see these as being numbers. I see these as being faces and families that are affected, that these people are my neighbors. They go by my house. I go by their house. It's a tight-knit community. We just don't need to see a road cutting through the middle of all these people's lives.
Jessica, there are two options. Do the two options have anything in common?
Yeah, so when we first started there, or at the website right now, that keepitmovingdallas.com /FM1387, you can go and you can view this graphic. And what this is a proposed alignment matrix, and it kind of compares, the north and the south. And really, yes, they do have some common things. The first one, the proposed, the purpose and need them to manage the congestion, to improve the east-west mobility, and to improve safety, they're pretty much the same. So again, I think I have more questions than I have answers to this. It's like, why do we even need the south option if the north already provides this? And I even have further questions of, okay, so this is one project, and then there's gonna be another project from Avila to 35 at some point. What would keep people from driving, like continuing on the north option if they're hopping on 35? So I just don't understand, again, the south option, why it's even an option.
There's definitely going to be an expansion. I actually, my wife was involved in the meetings for the expansion of Avila Road all the way from the 35, down to the 287, and it's going to be like a 6-lane road, and that's going to be quite a monster. And then they're doing 1387. There any more other differences you want to talk about?
Yeah, I can wrap up as best my knowledge, and you'll help me if I forget something. But to my knowledge, the north, the south option is going to cost $5 more million if this chart is true and factual, which it is. It's going to take over 27 more acres if they choose the south option. That's 8.5 acres of the forest and grassland that Zach mentioned. There's going to be more tax dollars to us too with this project being a longer road and going through, the maintenance of it.
Road maintenance. You got two roads that end basically at the same point.
Yeah, how do you even name that?
Yeah.
Do you name it like?
Because they're going to keep 1387 where it is already still there. They're not going to get rid of that. So now you're going to have just two lanes of traffic going to the same point. Why not just keep it where it already is?
Yeah.
So I'll give this question to Chuck. Chuck, what are you guys collectively doing to try to stop this route? And maybe, how could the elected officials help you, or even the people of Midlothian and Waxahachie?
We have been doing everything we possibly can. We've been to city council meetings. We've been to Ellis County meetings, the commissioner meetings. We've been to TxDOT meetings. We've sent millions of emails. We went to a city council meeting last week. Several other families, myself and my neighbors, have put together a photo binder of our places and the effects it's going to have on our places. We've sent numerous emails. We've got petitions with 275 signatures already. We've met with TxDOT. We've met with the county commissioners. We're doing everything that we possibly can to get everybody to present the information. We're going to let people make their choice, but we want to put the information out there and to see that this is not just a line on a piece of paper, but how this affects people. It affects lives greatly, and we just want to get all the information out there. Want to do every avenue that we can, including tomorrow night's city council meeting in Midlothian. Want to try to get everyone to voice their opinion. The council members, the commissioners, judge, anybody that has their official opinion on it. We want to know what that is.
And yeah, there's going to be a vote tomorrow. I didn't know. Is it a vote, or they're just going to be hearing your petition on this?
No, so we're going to the city council, and they're going to put it on the thoroughfare plan, bring it up as if they're going to redo the thoroughfare plan for the city of Midlothian. Oh. We got several people that are involved in it: City of Midlothian, City of Waxahachie, and TxDOT. So we're trying to get Ellis County, the City of Midlothian, City of Waxahachie, and TxDOT all on the same page for no southern option. We already have a viable option to the north. It's $5 million cheaper to go to the north. There's a road there. The people that are there are used to having a road in front of their house. They know that road was there. That wasn't a surprise. That road wasn't brought to them. They were brought to the road. The road is trying to be brought to us, which is not what we want.
So, the people can help you out by maybe emailing and talking to their local officials about this. And can they reach you anyway, or reach you guys to talk more about this?
He's welcome to come and visit our properties. Any of us, I think, are good country folks, and we'll host you and help educate you.
And that's definitely
city council meetings, county commissioner meetings, TxDOT if they have any meetings.
If they have any meetings, are you guys, and any one of y'all can answer this, or does TxDOT seem at all receptive, or do they care about your plight in any way?
I haven't heard a whole lot, honestly, from TxDOT. I actually had some really good questions for them at one of the meetings, and they weren't real privy to answer them. So
TxDOT was really concerned in a lot of the meetings that we went to that their roads would be safe, and that has the potential to make sure that the roads they're going with next to neighborhoods and families would be safe, but they can't guarantee that the drunk driver or the 18-wheeler that comes through, especially in people's backyards. There's a difference between a backyard and a front yard. A lot more people play in their backyards and find that their safe zone and their means of life back there.
That's why people put up fences. There's a whole bunch of fences when you look back. Go ahead, Chuck.
People have vehicles in the front of their house. The road's in front of their house. Their driveway's in front of their house. Most people. They're not used to having a road behind their,
right in their privacy.
And there's no option for TxDOT to compensate all of the people that the road's going to be in their backyard now. The individuals and the homeowners will be responsible for putting a fence in their own backyard to try and prevent the noise. I mean, they're taking down the tree line. So now we're going to have to put in our own fences and noise protection because TxDOT won't help us cover the cost on that.
So, again, I tell you, like I told you at the beginning, I do this show as a public service, and I love when people get involved. I get involved by doing this show so that people can know kind of what's going on in their area and talk to their local leaders. And it's always good to see people step up. there's not a lot of people to step up, and it's always good to see people step up for their community and things they want changed. So,
and I'd like to interject. Our city councilman and even the Ellis County councilman, they have absolutely appreciated every time we've been to the meeting. They have said multiple times, we appreciate when people show up and share their opinions. And so we want to be that voice. We want to do it in a way that's respectful and to be appreciative of their opinions, and that they have the opportunity to hear our opinions. And a really big meeting that we have coming up that we would like to ask people to come to is on October 18th at the Ellis County Courthouse in Waxahachie at 2:00. That is our time to stand up and to truly make the biggest and loudest voice that we can to try and prevent this Southern option from ever happening.
It's very true that there's not enough people to get involved. I covered the budgets this year, and you get to talking to our local leaders, and they say maybe 2 or 3 people, if that, show up to these budget negotiations that affect everybody, every single citizen and every property owner in the city and county. Anyway, I thank you guys so much for coming on and talking about this. And, I do wish you the best on this. I know that this is a behemoth you're fighting anytime you're fighting the state. And, I'm sorry that you guys have to go through that, and I wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.